Now we're good to go.
All right. All right. Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, kind of setting some goals on how to stay on track for the new year, or maybe trying to get back on track, but hopefully staying on track. But first, I was wanting to have Denise kind of share her inspirational story. Katie Radel is her coach, but Katie started teaching a religion class tonight and couldn't be on, but she had recommended that Denise had an awesome story, just because she was so dedicated and has been loving the program. So I twisted Denise's arm to share. So go at it, Denise. I think you'll have to unmute yourself, Denise. Just find your mute button and unmute. There you go.
Okay, I'm here.
Yep.
My name is Denise Miller, and thanks for asking me to do this, I guess, Dot. I started with Optavia on September the 8th, and I've lost 22 pounds and 18 inches so far. Thank you. I've struggled with my weight, and I think it's been for a few years. I've tried different things like skipping meals. I tried intermittent fasting, just other programs and things, and nothing seemed to work. And I just kind of decided that it's my age. I'm going to be 56, so I figured. I think I just came to the realization that it's just what it's going to be. Kind of gave up, and then I have slow metabolism also, on thyroid medicine. So I had seen Katie. She had her Facebook post where she talked about her weight loss, and I thought, well, Katie's my niece. She's not going to lie to me and try to, tell me something that's not true. And I think that helped. So I talked to her and thought, I might as well give it a shot and see what happens. I know there was a guarantee. And my first week, I lost 6 pounds and 4 inches. And I thought, I was amazed. I couldn't believe it. So I thought, well, this is something I do want to stick with. I can do this. So, I've been very happy with it. I'm, going to continue with it and everything. I think the first things that I noticed was more energy. My clothes fit better. My rings, I noticed, fit a lot better. I could take them off now without soap or lotion or something. I actually lost a ring, so I knew I was losing weight, and what a great place to lose it, in your fingers, but it worked. So the other things the other non-scale victories that I had were I used to have acid reflux, and like within 2 weeks it's gone. I haven't had to take any medicine for that. I had a lot of back pain and knee pain, and those seem to have disappeared. And it just amazes me what 20 pounds can do. Well, it's 22. I don't want to lose that too, but so the holidays they were hard, and I feel like since Thanksgiving I haven't lost anything. So it's been about a month, but I haven't gained anything either. So that tells me that I can maintain it. And Christmas was tough too, with all the COVID and everything. So I have decided that I have about 6 weeks before my next birthday, and I thought, I'm setting a goal for myself that I'm going to lose the next 10 pounds, and then I will be over my goal. So that's my plan.
Fits right in with the theme tonight then, huh?
Yes. That's what I thought too.
Thanks, Denise. That is really good.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of, I had talked to Jennifer about, what would be a good topic to do in January, and definitely with Thanksgiving and with Christmas, it is tough. We have a tendency to slide back into old habits, and although gatherings were smaller this year, which I found was a little bit easier to handle then. So we've already in December there were a couple things that actually were for viewing. One was the community time mid-December on vision boards. I hope people have got to see that one. It was very, very good, and it's in the YouTube channel or the podcast that you can see it. And vision boards are very, very powerful. So that kind of helps set kind of a stage for either 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, or 5 years. And to say how powerful they are, I had one, and on it I wanted a new vehicle, and I hadn't said anything to my husband about wanting a new vehicle. And he came home one day and he said, "Hey, what do you think about getting this new vehicle? I found one. What do you think?" Well, yeah, that'd be great. And then also I wanted to see the family more. And with COVID, my kids all live away, but then they did come home more because my grandkids are in sports a lot. So all the sports were canceled. So I guess in a roundabout way, my vision, I mean, it came true, not the way that I had envisioned it, but vision boards can be powerful. So if you don't have one, you might consider thinking about that. Google and see how to do it, or listen to the podcast. And the other thing we had in December was a couple weeks ago. Mitzi, I thought, did a really, really good job of saying, hey, you guys decide, write down 3 things that you want for yourself, and to work on yourself. And I thought that was very good. And hopefully people had a chance to kind of sit down and think about that, because then that kind of leads into what I'm going to talk about today then, is expanding on, if you did decide what you wanted, how to kind of figure out how to get there. Because I don't know, sometimes when people talk about, oh, we're going to do some goals and objectives, I get kind of glassy eyed and I get overwhelmed. It's like, no, not the goals and objectives thing. So I'm hoping maybe I can kind of break it down a little bit, and how you can kind of expand on that. So I'm trying something new. My granddaughter helped me figure out how to share slides. So we're going to do this. I've been practicing. Okay. Can people see that? I hope. Okay. So I kind of just, well, first, my granddaughter helped me figure out how to upload a picture. So this is my family. And I said, well, I'm going to leave that in there. And this is my granddaughter who helped me. I kind of did a little bit of research. What about New Year's resolutions? What's the big hype about it? And actually, I did find it on Wikipedia. It's kind of interesting to read about. I just kind of wrote the definition down there, but it actually has some religious origins, and I thought that was interesting. But with the sense of time, I wasn't going to get into it. But I did find it pretty interesting that the American Medical Association, they had on there that they had done some research. And on a couple studies, it showed that 46 of the participants made common New Year's resolutions. And got pictures cutting off the part of the slide I need to read there. And then that over 10 times as many of those deciding to make the life changes were more likely to be more successful if they started it in January versus some other time of the year. I thought that was kind of interesting. People usually tend to start on new goals either, the beginning of the month or their birthday or something like that, but it was definitely more effective the beginning of the year. So this is kind of a new year, new you. Getting back on track. And then you always have to remember what happened yesterday stays in yesterday. So probably the first 2 things is the main focus is first you need to mentally prepare yourself for change, and maybe some of you religiously do this every year and you've already got it planned out, but you really should evaluate where you made progress last year, whether it's, specifically we're talking about Optavia tonight, but it might be in other areas of your life. And where I didn't see progress, and where you didn't see progress, then that's where you'll kind of set your goals and look at a little bit closer. And then you want to make sure that the goal is something for you and not, oh, I don't know what to do. My friend is going to do this. Maybe I should do this. Or, my friend does all this exercising. Maybe I should do that, but I hate to exercise. So you kind of got to make it what you want to do. Um, and then you're going to write them down. And I've been talking to my clients this week that think of your overall goal, not just I want to lose 20 pounds. Well, when you're going to think about what problem areas did I have getting there, what happened over the holiday, kind of focus on one specific area at a time, find one thing. And then if you need to, go back to the life book and go through that chapter again. Um, I was thinking of the examples of exercise. Of course, that's a common one. But let's say you don't like to exercise, so you're going to start really, really small. And let's say you want to work up to 30 minutes 3 times a week. But okay, so the first week it might just be your goal to find out what you want to do to exercise. It doesn't have to be walking, and it doesn't have to be aerobics or anything. It might be yoga, like Jennifer likes to do. And then that first week, then if you do decide you're going to get your bicycle out or your treadmill out, that might be your goal for that week. Find it, unload all the clothes off of your treadmill, find it back again, and maybe just plan on starting maybe 5 or 10 minutes, once or twice a week, and build on that just to make it manageable is kind of one example. I was thinking I had a couple other examples here. Let me look. One other thing I wanted to mention about where did you not see progress last year? I do recommend people write them all down and then prioritize them and then figure out what's the most important one you want to work on first. And then you might, I said we're kind of focused on Optavia, but you might want to do something for mindset too. January and February is just so tough on everybody. It's always the hardest months for us to get people through. I'm a family nurse practitioner, and it's the people, my patients and stuff, it's hard. So I was kind of looking for different options for New Year's resolution. And if you're looking for something for mind too, something else in addition to your Optavia weight loss goal, I found an article in Good Housekeeping. It was like either 52 or 56 New Year's resolution New Year's resolutions. And there was some really neat things on there. It might be to start something, try something new, but that might be something if you're really having trouble with mindset, you might look at that area for ideas. Because sometimes you get overwhelmed and it's like, I don't know what to do. So maybe that'll help you focus in on that. And then obviously you need to write down your goals. Because if you write them down, they're going to be more likely to happen. And then you definitely want to share your goals with someone. It might be your coach, it might be a friend, it might be your spouse or whatever. But then if you share it with somebody, it makes you more accountable there too. And then definitely automate where possible, especially, reminder for fuelings. I know a lot of people can get off track over the holidays with their fuelings. So then it's hard to get back into that structure. You might set your cell phone. You've got the Habits of Health app. You might find a different app that you like. And like if you're exercise, you need to write it down too. And that helps you find it. And then they do talk about reviewing these goals and resolutions regularly. It might be once a week, once a month, especially like, let's use the example of the exercise one. After 1 week, did I find my treadmill? Did I find something that I want to do? And then after week 2, did you get done what you wanted to get done? And if not, what was in the way? What was the roadblock and what can you do to do that? And it might be a goal that you just look at once a month too, but definitely look at it. And then, it's so important, and we really stress this all the time. If you fall off track, get back on quick. Don't procrastinate and wait a couple days or 3 days. Well, man, I blew it now, but the next day you just get back on again. And I really liked this comment: a moment of weakness is meaningless in the grand scheme of things. So we're through Thanksgiving, we're through Christmas, and we're into New Year. And so that's meaningless in the grand scheme of things this year, starting the new year. And once you make a mistake, own it and move on to the next day. So I just wanted to touch on, excuse me, some of this stuff. And we've talked about this before, and you'll find it in the recordings. But I still feel like it's important to kind of talk about getting back on track and tying it to the goals. I mean, these are just things that you can read, but reevaluate your why. That's so, so important, especially if people, if they've lost 30, 40, 50 pounds and they're like 10 pounds from goal. And I think, Pam, you were the one that said, the last 10 pounds was the hardest, because you knew you were so close and it was so hard to stay focused. And I know people have to reevaluate their why. What's that going to mean to you if you reach those last 10 pounds? And then I really have to stress, contact your coach and touch base weekly. It's just so important, because it does help you stay accountable. But then too, if you're struggling, don't feel bad, and talk it out, because then that'll make you feel better to get it off your chest instead of keeping it all inside. So we want to be called and we want to be talked to. So please don't hesitate. And then we've talked about before, if you're really struggling, look at your before picture and take a new picture. That can be awesome. And then celebrate how awesome you look. And then you've got to get that life book back out. It's been the holidays now. Get it back out and start looking at it, especially rereading any of the elements where you're struggling, where you've identified there's a problem. Surroundings can be one. I don't know about you, but after Christmas, I threw out everything that I did not want to eat, or I sent it home with the kids. I had to get it out of the house. That's how I control my surroundings. If it's food addiction, if you got pulled back into the food, Element 16 is a good one to read. There's a good questionnaire that you can fill out to see, where you are. Are you really addicted to food? And when we were over in Germany a few years ago, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, one of the guys, I assume it was true, he said corn syrup's outlawed to be put into any products there because it's so addicting. So in Germany, they're not allowed to make a product with corn syrup. Just suck you right in there. Stress, a couple of the elements there, element 4 and element 23. I love element 23. If you're struggling with stress and a mental thing, especially January, February, do look over that or listen to the recordings. It's just so powerful. And maybe that'll help figure it out, or talk to your coach, or talk to a friend. But January and February are tough. Maybe it's water. Elements 10 is the water. A lot of people, if you're slipping back into your iced tea, or the soda started to taste good again over the holidays, look at your thing on water. We had a great presentation on water a few months ago. It talked about how important it is and what it did for your body. And then time to get back on track to getting the 5 fuelings in a day, or 4 fuelings, or however many. That's another thing that I feel like, we kind of let slip over the holidays. We were eating more of the other foods. We just didn't get our fuelings in. So element 8 and 9 kind of talk about that. So if you need to, reread those areas. And then of course, exercise, element 17 and 18. And then maybe people are really looking forward to transitioning too. There might be people getting close, but they're kind of nervous about it. Element 14 and 15 talk about transitioning, and it has a lot of good information. And of course, it's so important to stay plugged into the Habits of Health system. Our healthy hangout on Wednesday nights from 7 to 7:30. This is where you can participate, or if there's questions, Hopefully there's a chance for interaction on this group. It's just kind of our own little small group. And then after this, following 7:30 is our Wednesday night community calls. And remember, they're always recorded. Um, and I just feel like that's very important because that's another layer to help you stay on track. And then I kind of talked about optimizing the surroundings. So I think I have talked about everything I wanted to on that particular page. I've got people on the bottom of my screen, so I'm looking to see what my last slide says because I can't read it. Maybe I can move people around. Oh, there we go. So yes, focus on the present and don't look back and set mini goals along the way. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen here. And I didn't know if someone wanted to share maybe a goal that they have set and a mini goal, because I just feel like to hear ideas helps a lot. Um, I know meditation and yoga is always one of mine, Jennifer. It's there all the time, and I'm going to concentrate on that. But I'm going to do mini goals to begin with on that one. Maybe 10-minute yoga session. Is there anyone else that had something that they wanted to share on a goal and kind of the mini goals they were going to use to get there?
I was telling Jenna a little bit ago, I had kind of maintained for the last couple of months with the intention on January 1st, I was going back on plan or right. Actually, I went back on Monday to lose another 15. But the first couple of days back on plan, I've lost about 4 pounds, between 3 and 4. And it's water. The one thing that I really just kind of bombed during December was getting my water in, and it's so important. My fluid being off that way, I think is where that huge drop in just a couple of days has come from. So I'm kind of getting my little water jug back out that I've used while I've been doing the program, and doing that same schedule that I did all last year to get that in. But where, Mitzi has talked about in the past too, stacking habits, doing things that you need to do in connection with things that you already do pretty well religiously, that's something that you always get in. So I'm stacking my water in behind some other things that I have. I'm going to make sure I've had one by the time I have my coffee, and I'm going to make sure I have another one by the time of lunch. So that's kind of a tip that stuck in my mind and has helped me this week, is just attaching that habit back onto something that I was already going to do anyway.
So Jada, not to put you on the spot,
Mhm.
but did you write down? I mean, you had in your mind, I'm going to get back on track in January, and you had in your mind, I got to get my water in. But
Yeah.
I mean, did you write anything down?
I have a little journal that I've used in conjunction with my life book, and I put down in my journal that this is what I'm gonna need to do. And I didn't write about the fluid the first day because it didn't occur to me that I was that far off. But then as the weight started down so quickly, it's like, oh girl, this is the reason, is because you've been focusing on getting that water in on plan. So that's a habit that, even though I did it all of last year, it wasn't ingrained enough that I did it during November and December. So that's something that I've jotted back down of, this is a life habit. This is not something that I can let go or let slide. It's important to my health.
Very good. I agree. The habits of health call, then I think I've got 727. I didn't know if anybody had anything else they wanted to say, or otherwise will be transferring to another Zoom room. Okay, well, thanks, Jada.
Happy
Thanks
New
for
Year,
being-
everyone. That's all I wanted to say.
Happy New Year.
That was
Happy New Year.
wonderful. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Dot. That was
Can I
awesome.
say one thing before you go?
Yes, for sure, Mitzi.
So, we created a YouTube channel for our Healthy Hangouts, and I started posting our weekly Hangouts in there. I don't have all, I've got a few right now. So hopefully I'll be able to put this one in and then share it on Healthy Friends where to find the YouTube channel.
Great.
Awesome.
I've never been on YouTube. I mean, I
That
never
is-
presented on YouTube.
God,
That's awesome.
2021 is your year for new things.
Right.
Wow.
Well, thanks for doing that.
Hi,
Okay.
everyone.
Lee, is that your grandson waving to you? I love that. So cute.
Cute.
All right.
Okay. I
Good
think
night.
We're all
Good night.
set. Have a good night, everybody.